Republicans, like their chances in the midterms starting to kind of reverse a little bit with like the Jan 6 stuff and the Roe v. Wade decision. I mean, like I think especially if Democrats like can do a decent job at highlighting like what they actually believe and like the consequences of it, that it's like their platform is like obviously extremely unpopular with the broader electorate. And, you know, as they get more extreme, like only become more extreme, I think like it's clear that like their efforts to subvert democracy and like authoritarianism is like kind of their only way out of that. Cause like the more extreme they become and the more like toxic they become to the general electorate. And so I guess like my kind of question is like, assuming that like, and I don't think we should assume that they won't succeed. I think there's like, I don't know, I'm like pretty pessimistic about it, but like if for a second, like if we suppose that like their efforts were to not succeed and they like have to actually compete like on a long-term basis in like a general electorate and actually like try to receive like something approximating a majority, like how would they even begin to like eventually moderate their parts? Because like they're so
there doesn't even seem to be there doesn't seem to be a strategy or frankly an example of them moderating. I think what it is they're going to continue. They are pursuing the strategy that they're pursuing. I don't think it's just that they are they're too extreme and they're driving people away. They simply do not have the numbers, and they know they do not have the numbers. You don't lose 2 presidential elections over the course of 20 years by at least in the popular vote. And you get to be president unless, like the strategy is, they are looking for minoritarian rule because that's their only option. So you have the gerrymandering that's going on in the House seats. The Senate doesn't work as well, obviously, for gerrymandering. It doesn't work, you don't gerrymander. But there's a structural advantage to these, to the small states having, Republicans and the Supreme Court. So I don't think that there is even I don't think there is a test balloon. I don't think there's anybody working on that project.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I'm just saying that like they're clearly becoming like, or as like Roe v. Wade is actually being implemented, like it seems like their level of extremism is like rising to a level that like they're really like even places where they should be competitive, like they're kind of like, especially you see some of these Senate races, like they're not even. And
right.
Like I guess my question is like I agree they're not like attempting to moderate at all. I'm just like saying like, is there a world where like they become like
I don't think so. Here is why is because at the very least for the House members, okay, there are very few districts in the House where they're purple, for lack of a better term. There's like 30, maybe 40 seats in the House that are going to be, where you have like that could possibly flip one way or another. I know they're not going to get those kind of numbers, but there's only 30 or 40 House districts that are competitive now. And that means that those Republicans who are, they're all, I'm sure there's some non-MAGA Republican, for lack of a better term, but there's not many at all. And they are in districts that are gerrymandered. It behooves them to move further to the right because certainly that's what dominates the primaries. That's the problem they have on a Senate level, is that their primaries are dominated by the most Republican of Republican voters, and they are lunatics. Right. And so, you get the Blake Masters, you get the Mehmet Oz, and you get the J.D. Vance. I think he's going to win in Ohio, but the idea that it's even a question is pretty shocking. And so, that's just what I mean. There is no, and this is true of the Democratic Party even more so. but there is no like guy in charge of the Republican Party saying, we're going to do this now. It is a bunch of people who happen to have aligned interests, and their interests are aligned insofar as like they're trying to get reelected, and their electorate is not interested in any type of moderate Republicans. And that's why it's not happening. It's not happening.
That's exactly what
it's not going to happen.
So that's exactly what I mean, though. I just mean, like, if they, like, say they were to, like, this is best case scenario. I'm just saying, like, this is like a hypothetical good scenario, but like, so that they would keep losing in these places, like they lose in Pennsylvania and Arizona and Ohio, and they start to realize, like, okay, we like can't.
No,
we can't
there's
win a
no
primary with the lunatic days.
There's nobody to make that realization. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. That it is possible that somebody in Pennsylvania will say, I've got to run a more moderate campaign. But if they try that in the primary, they lose. It is possible that you could find a candidate who's going to be able to tack to the center after the primary. It's possible, but that's only going to happen in Pennsylvania. It's not going to happen in any other state where, you know, it's a red state. This is not going to happen. So there's the party's not going to moderate. Basically. The party is not going to moderate. There may be some individuals who do and win, although I think that's going to be increasingly less likely. Appreciate the call.